You're live.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's CB11 Transportation Committee meeting. I'm Kathy Barrow, Chairman of the committee. Tonight's meeting is being recorded and live streamed to facebook.com/BrooklynCB11. Let's start the evening off with a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. So, first thing on the agenda, we are joined by the Department of Transportation, who will discuss the big Parkway and Cropsey Avenue offset bus lane and the school safety proposals to improve traffic safety at Utrecht Avenue and 17th Avenue between 78th and 81st Street. And now I will turn it over to them. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay. Let me set that one. Thank you. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I recognize tonight, it's for here, so I'm going to try and make this relatively quick so hopefully you can see at least some of the game with you tonight. Yeah, my name is Bailey Lai. I'm a project manager in transit development in New York State Department of Transportation. I'm joined by my colleague Sarah Feller, Assistant Director of Bus Priority, as well as multiple other DOT folks and my MTA colleagues, Max Rob and Lee Drummond. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We are going to be talking about our final proposal for the bus priority and safety improvements. Oh, there we go. Okay, so just to summarize, of course we're going to go through an overview of the project that we previously discussed with the CB's electeds and wider community and the outreach we've already conducted thus far and the work to date. Then we'll go through details of the final proposal, and finally we'll go through a summary and next steps for our project. So first off, why are we looking at the Parkway and Cropsey specifically? So just to give background for those who aren't already aware, we're looking at the Parkway between Avenue J, north towards Ocean Parkway, all the way down to the Bell Parkway and Shore Parkway. In addition, we're also looking at Cropsey Avenue between the intersection of Bay Parkway and down to 26th Avenue. So a total of 3 miles. And the biggest reason we're here to present this proposal is for the 35,000 daily bus riders within this project area alone, for both the B6 limited and local bus, as well as the BA2 select bus and local bus as well. And across the entire routes of both of these, it's actually over 85,000 bus riders across Southern Brooklyn. So lots and lots of riders in addition to the express buses, X28, X38, important commuter connections to and from Manhattan. In addition, down on Cropsey Avenue, there's over 140,000 daily riders that use the bus routes that get dispatched from the Olin Park Bus Depot down on Cropsey and 24th Ave. So just to reiterate how important all the buses and the bus routes in this community are. Not just for this community, but throughout the wider Brooklyn as well. For DOT in particular, this is a Vision Zero priority corridor, meaning there are historically been a number of high number of crashes. Unfortunately, in the last year alone, there were 2 fatalities, and in the last 5 years, there were 30 people that were killed or seriously injured across Big Parkway and Cropsey. And from our previous study, we saw that left turn crashes are as much as 40% of the crashes or injuries here on this corridor. So again, just to reiterate the importance of safety in this area. And last but not least, the curb regulations here. There's a lot of double parking, as you're probably well aware, across Bay Parkway due to the wide variety of land use. So the public outreach we've done to date consists all the way from first presenting the existing conditions to the CB as well as CB12 further north and electeds, and also the draft proposal where we did a much more wider outreach with not just the CB and the electeds, but also DSNY, FDNY, and even did a full briefing with the local precinct 66 and NYPD. In addition, we also did a walkthrough per CB12's request through their portion of the corridor. And earlier this year, as we were creating our final design, we did outreach with a variety of other stakeholders, including faith-based organizations. We did translations and in-person outreach with interpreters across the corridor to merchants all along Bay Parkway. And that brings us to tonight, where we're presenting a proposal. So first, I just want to show a cross-section of the general design of most of the intersections or blocks on Bay Parkway. It will consist of repurposing the right travel lane into an offset plus lane. So for many of these blocks, we're going to be retaining existing curb regulations or repurposing them, while also allowing general travel in the left travel. For certain blocks, I'll go into more details in the next section. The bus only lane shifts curbside as well as the travel lane to accommodate a new left turn lane. And this allows for the left turn queues to be separated from the through traffic. And within CB11 in particular, there's a couple of more blocks where we are proposing multiple blocks of curbside bus lane, daytime from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I'll go through that in a little more detail in a second. But first, just want to also show Cropsey Avenue. This is a design we also previously presented. We don't anticipate much change here in terms of having an offset bus lane for most of the corridor, but we are adding as many median islands as possible. So in our previous presentations, the feedback we received from CB11 and the wider community, it's been grouped into roughly 5 categories. First being pedestrian safety, which led to us adding more median islands and tip extensions. From there, also with left turn traffic and safety, there's a lot of queuing and dangerous conditions in terms of drivers feeling they need to make the left turn from the left lane super quickly. That led us to add even more left turn lanes from the initial design to 14 intersections. And from there, also through traffic, we changed the design a little bit from our initial proposal last year to accommodate the larger traffic volumes approaching Avenue J in the north and Cropsey Avenue and Bell Parkway in the south. For business loading and parking, that was another common concern we heard. So we did block by block every single parking spot along the corridor to take a look at meter retimings, adding new meters, new loading zones, and seeing which block makes the most sense in terms of repurposing the curb regulations. And last but not least, at Cropsey Avenue, we've heard in particular from CB11 here that you would like more improvements, particularly to the medians. So we're trying to build out as many of those concrete medians as possible. And my understanding that there was also an ongoing capital project in Cropsey Avenue, 24th Avenue, that will, unrelated to this project technically, but we have been coordinating with them internally.
What about the other project on the Parkway in the city?
So we're also coordinating with them as well. Yes, yeah. So that will add like a bus fold for between 85th and 86th. So I'll go through super quickly. The traffic volume consists of looking at the movements for every single intersection, so 59 intersections in the entire project area, modeling the existing traffic at the busiest times of the day, and then determining how the many versions of designs that we've been coming up with, how they hold up in terms of traffic. And what we found based on the traffic results and what we changed is, again, approaching Cropsey Avenue in particular, there was a lot of backups, which is unsurprising given the current conditions. So we ended up shortening some of the bus lane length there. And also the queuing, again, between many intersections as a result of the left turn lanes being shared, or rather the left turns being shared with the through vehicles, which is why we ultimately designed the left turn lanes as we did. So to go into more detail on the curve regulations, we are going through the entire corridor to retime existing meters along the most busy commercial blocks, as well as also adding new meters into those blocks that are the most commercial as well. In addition, the neighborhood loading zones are a new feature for this neighborhood, so that would be for more residential blocks and medium density areas. There are existing truck loading zones, but we're not only keeping the existing truck loading zones, but also adding a couple more due to the high demand for loading trucks, vans, deliveries along this neighborhood. And just to reiterate, most of the bus lanes are going to be offset through this corridor, including in CB11, to preserve as much parking on Bay Parkway as possible. In CB11 specifically, it will be daytime from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and this would be the blocks between 78th to 70th Street northbound.
And what area?
On Bay Parkway. And I'll go through the detailed design in just a couple slides. I can walk through. There's going to be top-down illustrations. So for the left turn lanes, we ended up choosing the left turn lanes with in areas or intersections with the major intersections. So 65th Street, 78th Street, and Kings Highway. So areas you would typically see a lot of left turns and also through traffic. In addition, we also are putting them at multiple other smaller cross streets where we, based on our traffic analysis, we saw high levels of left turns. And also areas where we figured out through the design that there would be few alternative routes. So we tried to minimize as much of the left turn restrictions as possible at other intersections, but these are mostly smaller intersections or smaller cross streets with low levels of left turns, and also cross streets where you can make alternative routes to get to that immediate next block. And just to point out the safety benefits, citywide, we find that left turn lanes correlate with 15% decrease in injuries, and left turn restrictions correlate with up to 40% in bicyclist and pedestrian injury decrease. So very, very good before and after correlation in terms of safety. And then last but not least, just want to point out that we want to increase as much as possible the number of new pedestrian improvements, since as you're all well aware, Bay Parkway is not just bus riders and drivers, but also a lot of pedestrians as well. So up to 18 new pedestrian islands or median tip extensions on Cropsey Avenue and a couple on Bay Parkway. And these are still tentative, which is why we say up to 18. It's pending in-house construction capacity. Some of it may spill into next year, but we're trying to build out as many of them as possible. If in areas where we can't build in concrete for due to limitations of our project, we're trying to put in painted curb extensions, particularly like in areas around like the train stations. And again, according to capital projects like the 86th Street capital project I mentioned, or we mentioned earlier, and South Brooklyn pedestrian improvements on Cropsey Avenue. So with that being said, here is a top-down illustration, first for 61st Street to 63rd. So you'll notice here for these blocks, there's no, so it's all offset bus lanes, so it's been, there is a curbside further up in 60th where we're trying to add in a left turn lane, but starting at 61st, all the existing curb space is retained. However, because all the space is retained, this didn't leave us with enough room for the left turn lanes, which is where we're proposing left turn restrictions at these couple of blocks. However, in the left turn lane map I'll show in a few slides, you'll see there's alternate routes for these couple of blocks. And in addition, just want to point out the truck loading zone here as we approach 65th. That's added to accommodate the the amount of loading in this commercial section.
So no left turns.
Correct, no left turns from the Bay Parkway onto 61st, 62nd, or 63rd.
So all those parking's gone.
No. So in this situation, the parking is retained
Yeah,
here.
parking's still there.
Yeah, so you'll see, yeah.
The
So,
left turn is gone.
yeah, the left turn is gone, but in a few slides, I'll point out where the alternate routes could be. There's a larger map.
It's just for those 3 blocks.
For this section specifically,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, and then for just moving down to 64th to 67th, closer to 65th and the N train station. You'll see here, this is an example where we added the left turn lane, but as a result, we bring the offset bus lane curbside to accommodate that new left turn lane in both directions of 65th Street, due to how many left turns are at this intersection. So this would definitely be a big safety improvement, and also improve driving experience by separating that
But
traffic.
that would be, that was it, it says left hand.
Sorry, say that again?
The second box, southbound offset lane shifts over to accommodate the left
Yes.
turn. Look at the arrow. Those trucks are coming from the right side?
No, we're talking about northbound.
Right there.
Wait, sorry.
Right there.
Yeah, so right is north. Because of the nature of the grid, it's like it might be hard to determine, but right is north. So southbound is from
So that-
right to left.
Wouldn't that be a right hand turn?
Yes. So right turns are allowed from bus lanes across New York City.
Why does the arrow point to the red and say left hand turn?
Oh yes. So the arrow points here to point out that this offset lane, when it travels from 64th, 65th, it shifts curbside because there's a new left turn lane
Oh.
here. Yes, yeah, it's approaching 65th.
It's to make room for the
I
left
see
turn.
it.
Yes, yeah, so it's to make room. So because of how narrow Bay Parkway is, we do have to create these trade-offs to accommodate.
On these blocks, he's right, we lose a block.
A couple, yes. And we try to optimize it. So for example, you'll notice here there's actually a bus stop on the other side. So we try to make them as much as possible where there's already no standing.
Okay.
But yes, at many of these blocks, like we will see a couple of spots of parking loss at those blocks.
But not overnight.
For this situation, it would be 24/7 because you need it in order for the left turn lane to exist. Yeah.
Bear in mind that the B2 operates only every 40 minutes overnight. And the B6 operates every hourly overnight.
Keep in mind that bus lane also works as a right turn lane.
Yeah, at the right turn lane.
Yeah.
Ready? Question?
Yes.
64, 65. Bus bay only, no parking there? I'm looking at it, all day.
So in the red, yeah, where it's at the curb, it's no parking.
No trucks either. On two blocks.
Yeah.
So for longer loading, no. So for expeditious on bus lanes, you can load super quickly. I forget I believe it's like 5 minutes. But for longer loading periods, we are adding like new truck loading zones
That's you.
and also meter parking as well.
That's you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a lot of businesses,
You've been a notice.
Yeah, so we recognize that this is like a very busy block as well, which is why we looked at every single block to retime existing meters and also even adding new meters along other commercial storefronts. And actually, even on 65th, I don't point out here it's so truck loading zone will be here. There'll be about 1 or 2 spots between 64th and 65th in the southbound. And then there's an existing truck loading zone, but then we're also adding more meters and also retime the meters to increase. Yeah.
About that, the new left turn.
Yeah,
I think we're- yeah.
Will they
Yes.
have a traffic signal with the left turn?
So there are existing on a couple. We're trying to see if we can put them in as many intersections as possible. But for those that do not have an exclusive signal, it would still improve the situation in terms of having the left turns be separate from the through traffic, so that the traffic doesn't.
But people in the state would just tend to go to the left last. That they wait, for that left turn, and they don't get that turn, and, say 4 cars can make it, no, you're gonna get like 8 cars going, because they go on the red.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, yeah, so that's something we can consider looking into for the design. But in terms of like the left turn lights, even when there isn't a left turn exclusive signal, like a light that's is left turn, we do find safety improvements because sometimes what happens is vehicles that are making that left turn from the left shared lane, so that's through and left, they feel very like pressured by oncoming cars behind them that can go through.
No, but I think that if you don't have the signal there, you're going to have those cars queue up in that lane and back up.
That includes.
Why isn't there why isn't there a signal for the left turn? Why not just put one?
I can jump in here. So we have traffic engineers, and so we're asking them to put in these left turn arrows for light facing signal faces wherever they can. But there are trade-offs. For example, every second where you have the left turn arrow, you can't have the through traffic going. And so the goal is to minimize any traffic congestion. So there's trade-offs.
So
But
you're leaving it up to the driver.
Yeah, so like in
You're leaving it up to
any-
the driver.
Yeah, so in the existing condition where there is like a solid green light, right? In any place in New York or anywhere that doesn't have a left turn light, it is the driver is supposed to be paying attention to the opposing traffic. Oftentimes in New York, what drivers typically do
So
is pull up and then the red light comes and that's when they turn.
because some person will wait
Yeah.
because they're nervous and it backs up everyone else, as you said. So what light is there in that lane?
So it's currently just I believe it's currently just a solid red.
Is it really just a left turn? Because if you have a regular light, people are gonna go straight.
Yeah.
Right now, they're gonna go straight into it.
Right now at 65th, the northbound traffic has a separate green light
Mhm.
to turn left. The northbound already has it. The southbound currently does not have a separate left and right signal.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the situation right now.
Okay, so they have insurance, go ahead. Next.
Just for purpose of time, I'll go through the next slides, and this will be shared publicly online. So feel free to go to our website to go through.
Bear in mind that on north of Kings Highway, you only have the B6 bus route, which operates 24/7, operates only hourly service.
You mean,
Overnight.
during the middle of the day, it operates as frequently as like once a minute for the long
Yes,
run.
but I'm talking about overnight. I mean, personally, I don't think there should be offset bus lanes in effect overnight. Let's say between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. Because bus service is so infrequent, it's just not worth it. It would just simply hold up traffic. And when you increase traffic, you increase pollution.
Well, one thing I'll say is also, you're talking about midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. There's also many fewer cars on the road, and that's also where we tend to get a lot of speeding and leaving and a disproportionate amount of crashes, injuries, and fatalities. And so overnight, talking about the middle of the night, you have fewer buses, but also the bus lane helps to really discourage the kind of leaving and speeding, and it has a safety benefit in the middle of the night as well.
Yeah, there's calming. It calms traffic, so it's not just the benefits to the buses, but also to drivers as well. But just moving on to this specific block here, so we moved a couple of blocks south. However, in the appendix, if there's questions about a particular block, I do actually have every single block in the appendix. So I'm not specifically hiding the block. Yes. So 74th to 77th. We can get to 78th in a second. But first, I just want to point out here for
What happened to 66 to 74?
Oh yeah, so in the appendix, if you want me to go through that, I can go through. Just for the purpose of time, like in the main presentation, I just go through select intersections. But in the appendix, there's a drawing of every single block.
I can tell you right now, the merchant tip was real upset losing his property.
Okay, yeah, so we can go through it. If we can just go through the main presentation first, and we can definitely go through
Yeah.
that specific.
Totally.
Yeah. So just want to point out here, so this is, I selected this intersection for the main presentation because this is one of the areas where there's multiple blocks of curbside bus lane during the daytimes. To your point, sir, like overnight, this would be retained as parking after 7 p.m. And before 7 a.m. So during those hours, there's going to be parking retained for the community overnight. And the reason why we decided on this design as opposed to the offset is because you'll see here there are actually multiple blocks of left turn lanes. This is the area where there's multiple intersections where there's very few alternate routes. So as a result, we added left turn lanes for safety and also to accommodate the high volumes of left turns. And in addition, being next to the playground, we also are trying to build out as many concrete pedestrian islands in the remaining channelization in the middle as possible, where there aren't left turn lanes.
Why does it have to be 7 to 7? Why can't it be 7 to 8?
So 7, we could do 7 to 8. 7 to 7 is, it depends on the scheduling for each particular bus route.
Yeah, but, more or less 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's rush hour. That's when we have the most bus commuters. That's when.
It's also very early.
Oh, it's
What's that?
It's also very early.
Yes, yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people go, taking.
So why not make one at considered 7 to 8?
At 7.
Meaning.
Like 7
parking-
a.m. to 8
8
p.m.?
8 a.m.
Oh, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes. No, you said earlier 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. you can park.
Oh, yes, you're talking about the parking.
Yes.
Yes,
Why not
okay.
make it to 8 a.m.?
At 7, there's already a ton of traffic built up on Big Parkway.
Yes, so in our traffic analysis, we usually choose like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to, by that point, a lot of people, particularly in Brooklyn, there's a lot of people that are already traveling and going to and from work on the buses and also driving as well by 8 a.m. So that's why we choose 7 a.m. as opposed to 8 a.m. Yeah, so it's usually earlier, particularly like in this neighborhood when people are going to work.
Avenue P still work. Triangle?
Yes.
Still got a stoop?
I'm just saying that.
It's a
It's the next
State
one.
park.
It's a little park. Beeland Square.
It's
Beeland Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Northish.
Yeah.
Northish.
Yeah.
Next.
So, okay, and again, I can jump into a specific block in the appendix, but I'm just going to go further down into Cropsey Avenue and Bay Parkway. So you'll just note here, in this little section, which again I can show in the appendix for all the blocks, we dropped the bus lane in part due to the traffic volumes that get built up approaching Cropsey and heading further down. So south, right now in this instance, towards the Bell Parkway is towards the bottom of this picture. And then once you get back onto Cropsey from Big Parkway, that's where we pick back up the offset bus lane. The only portion of Cropsey that is curbside is this north curve here, when it's from right to left, when it's making the right turn onto Big Parkway. And this is already existing, no standing, and already multiple bus stops, so we're not removing any parking at this block.
So you don't get a lot of right-hand turns from Shore Parkway? Down here?
So further down, you mean?
Yeah, you don't get a lot of right-hand turns?
So right in from Shore Parkway to Bell Parkway, and then Cropsey, is that what you're saying?
Making that right-hand turn.
The
Yes,
turn
sir.
is legal. There's no changes to that.
Yeah, so we're not banning that
It's
turn.
one lane.
Yes, the traffic volumes here are, like, based on our traffic analysis, like, is able to sustain one lane.
So it's not as many, okay.
Yeah.
Are you putting in southbound Bay Parkway onto Cropsey a left turn signal, was dedicated?
That is, again, like, we'll have to work through our final design with the signal team to
Well,
determine,
it's
yeah.
been,
Yeah.
requests over the years have been put in,
Can you put it in?
and the buses can't make the turn on the green, they have to go to the bay. So it really defeats safety for hundreds, thousands of people crossing to go to a park or the shopping center.
Mhm.
Can
We'll check in with our engineers on that,
Yeah,
and
because
we'll,
we spoke about that.
this
Yes.
is really,
Yeah.
yeah, I checked that last time too.
We've been asking for this for years. Because everybody goes on the red, especially the buses, because they have no choice.
Yeah, I know, that left turn is super heavy, for sure, so, yeah, let's talk to our engineers about it, and we'll see what we can do.
And your
100%.
medians, I'm assuming you're going to leave painted?
Yeah, so not necessarily painted. So here, I just want to point out, so this is an existing median, but further down across Cropsey Avenue, we're trying to install as many of them as
Let
possible.
me just tell you the behavior as it exists today with those medians.
Mhm.
When you back up on a heavy day on the belt, now the 2 lanes and the right turn for the buses at Bay Parkway, traffic is backed up to between 24th and 25th Avenue. You cut down the lanes, you're going back to Coney Island, and they're going to be driving on your medians.
Are you talking about this direction further south or the north?
Correct, south.
Okay, going south.
Going towards Coney Island.
Yeah.
No, going towards.
Going towards Bay Bridge. Okay, so this
Yeah.
so on the top here, like yes,
All
from
the way
right to
down,
left.
they're going to be driving on your medians and making their own lanes.
Yeah. So based on our traffic analysis, and this is based on like the peak hours, the volumes here, although they are high, they're not higher than Bay Parkway.
I
So
will go
yeah.
out and videotape it and send it to your traffic people.
All right, next.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that into account again, like as we get back to our team in the final design. But yeah, just want to point out again that we're trying to build out as many of the median islands here, because currently a lot of them are just painted or they just don't exist.
And I also want to suggest that you could reach out to DEP and coordinate with them to put noise meters there. Because we get the most noise complaints from this intersection, and I can only imagine with this change, it's going to increase, just due to driver behavior.
Does honking, things like that?
What?
I'm sorry, go on. Honking, things like that?
Like traffic.
Not only just honking, also in the neighborhood there's complaint about in the middle of the night there's a very loud, I don't know what that called, the mufflers, like make a huge noise till 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. We get a complaint a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's very useful, like community information that we're definitely going to take to heart. And just immediately, like the first thing that comes to mind is like we're going to be coordinating with NYPD, more so particularly like at first with CB12, they have an issue with overnight truck parking, but we'll also in our conversation with NYPD talk to them about this community in particular, about that intersection and across the Parkway with traffic noise concerns.
That block always congested.
FYI, on the eastern side of Bay Parkway and Cropsey, you only have the X28 to X38. That's 28.
At 28 and the 38.
Midday weekdays, which only operates hourly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to talk about Bay Parkway again, and Cropsey.
How much do we have through the rest of this presentation before we get to the
Well, no, but this is like a really big thing about Bay Parkway and Cropsey's our worst intersection. So we just talked about the left and the turn signal. Now we're talking about one lane that can go straight or make a right. So what's gonna happen is that people are gonna have to make a right, have to wait for pedestrians to cross. We're gonna.
Sorry, not meaning to cut you off, but which one are you referring towards? Right.
Well, now going towards Bay Ridge, on Cropsey, and you're approaching Bay Parkway, and now, I wanna make a right. I have to wait for pedestrians, and meantime I have everybody behind me waiting for me to make that right.
Oh, okay. So in this situation, you can turn right on the bus lane. So it's what's effectively going to happen is there already is an existing kind of like a right turn bay, I suppose here. So what we're doing is we're going to paint it red as a curb, as a curbside bus lane. However, like any other bus lane in New York City, you're able to make that right turn from the bus lane. So vehicles can pull in. You'll see. Yeah. So there's always a Pega track there to, yeah.
It's good to know that it's legal.
Yeah. And that's one of the benefits, these bus lanes, like every bus lane in the city, at least the ones that are in the curbside lane or next to the curbside lane, they function as right turn lanes. They're also school buses can use them, or emergency response, first responders can use them all the way through at any time.
Yeah, and I recognize there's a couple of questions, so I think I'll go through the whole, there's only a few more slides up, and then I can take more questions that way. Yeah, so just want to point out really quickly, this is a left turn map of all the left, or rather the turn changes. Most of these are left turns, but some of them are right turns as well. And again, we're sharing this publicly online, so obviously a lot of information, so you can look at it afterwards, but just pointing out a lot of left turn lanes are being added across the corridor. Just pointing out here, yeah, for example, like 70th and West 10th Street, those are examples of where there are a lot high left turn volumes in our traffic analysis. And then permitting it at West 12th Street, again, due to the high turn volumes. Some of these we're restricting in part because of the grid. For example, that right turn to Stillwell Avenue, you can already make by turning onto Ave P and then onto Stillwell. And then a couple more blocks of left turn restrictions, again, because there are alternate routes either on 21st Ave or 23rd Ave, or you can make the left turn at the new left turn lanes. And then just lastly showing the last few blocks in the southern portion, there are already existing left turn restrictions at 86 and 24th Ave because of the dangerous conditions for left turns there without a left turn lane. So we're adding 84th and 85th to that, but as a trade-off, we're actually adding 82nd and 83rd, as well as Benson Avenue and Bath Avenue. And Bath Avenue in the northbound left direction, that currently already has a left turn exclusive signal, so like the left turn arrow that's green. So with all this being said, just want to summarize really quickly. The biggest change we're proposing is the offset bus lanes. And curbside bus lanes, we recognize it will be impactful community, but we are trying to be very mindful of where we're putting it. So only 24/7 in short sections approaching the major intersections for left turn lanes. And then in CB11 in particular, between 78th and 70th, there's curbside during the daytime, 7 a.m. 7 p.m. And then left turn lanes, again, at 14 intersections and restrictions at other intersections to improve the traffic flow. And this is, again, to improve the bus speed and reliability for not just the 35,000 daily bus riders that are within the project area itself, but outside of the project area, B6 and B82, they're two of the busiest bus routes in all of New York and not just Brooklyn. Over 80,000 daily riders across the whole routes. And this also improves the driver experience by separating the left turn queuing situation with the through traffic for drivers who are going straight through Bay Parkway. In addition, the left turns also improve pedestrian safety based on the stats that we, based on the previous studies we've done. And with the curb regulations and meters retiming and new meters, loading zones, we find that they're effective at encouraging more parking turnover and more opportunities for loading. This is the final slide. So our next steps, right now we're doing the final proposal outreach, and over the summer and fall, we're going to incorporate all of your comments and feedback and take to heart all of your concerns. And we are we're hoping to implement later this year, and particularly with the concrete elements like the islands that may lead into next year. And we will do continuous monitoring. We're not just going to create this project and leave the neighborhood. We're going to continue to monitor traffic post implementation.
So when do you expect comments on the greenway?
So currently, during this summer.
We don't meet in the summer.
Of course not, that's
So you'll
what I
wait for
want to
us,
do with them.
you'll wait for us in the fall.
We're not stupid. Like, I didn't get a letter for some reason.
I don't, they look at nice people,
But this-
it's like they'll wait for us, right? You'll wait for us, right?
I think
They're nice people.
We're here, we're gathering feedback, and we want to continue this conversation, and we're open to things. We just want you guys to have like,
Because virtually every community
But
board
that time, the time is involved.
does not meet, in July and August because it's the summer recess.
So again, you'll wait for us.
definitely take it back. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
we
we're,
will,
we're definitely
we'll
gonna take
take
the
it,
feedback.
yeah, we're taking the feedback.
Very few do, and those who do are few and far between and are in action.
I don't know if anybody who needs this.
No.
No one,
So,
I mean, I'll be honest, I was, we were hoping that you would be able to give us whatever feedback you have before the recess, but if you need more time, we understand that and we'll figure it out.
Right, and as I was saying before, tomorrow night is our last board meeting before we break. So it's not gonna be enough time to do this
So,
tomorrow night.
November, December,
No, September.
September, I don't know.
and also
We can't move until
after
September.
last meeting, my office had with DOT, I reached out to a lot of community members. They have no idea. And even you guys said that you had the interpreter went along with, on Bay Parkway, Merchants Association president here. He didn't hear anything. So
It's a, Councilmember Hyde, Diana,
yeah.
from
And then, and also very few outreach. Even this meeting, very few people know. And I spoke to a lot of people, they did not know that meeting like this.
So, you're gonna wait for us when we come back in September, before you start.
Yes. Look at the expression before you continue.
Then there's nothing we can do, it's up to you. It's up to you now.
Look at the expression.
We're
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're working with the council member, we're working with the elected officials.
Okay.
I'm
here.
Yes, of course.
I said I offered to help. No one reached out to ask my offer.
No, not at all. We're from the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner's Office. Yeah, we met just yesterday. No, and we
had the meetings with Dad, if you wanna.
yeah, we've done outreach. I'm not, again, this has been an outreach.
Okay.
We've had multiple steps. Yes, thank you for going in. And we have previously, as you
Yeah,
noticed.
so we have done existing
Yeah,
conditions.
exactly.
to
We're just-
We got that.
Yeah.
You
So,
don't have to repeat that.
okay,
We got
great.
that.
So,
We would like to respond to it.
and
That's all.
as you should,
But it doesn't sound like we're done.
I'm saying we want to hear the feedback.
So you will give us till our meeting in September?
We're here, I have the
to give
council
that
member,
feedback.
and we're obviously talking with Keith Bray and whatnot to see what other steps can be taken. I can't predict any other timelines, but this is a conversation. We want to get the feedback. And if there's any other things we can respond to in depth, because I'm not gonna provide questions in which I can't and give you erroneous information, I will do so. But
That would require you not starting and not lifting a finger.
Exactly.
And that is,
until we come back in
and
September.
then is that not feedback? I will take it back.
Promise that?
I cannot promise anything until, my life can't be promised.
Okay. Well, we put it out there.
But I can take it back. I can take it back.
We're taking notes, we're gonna take it back to our team. One thing I guarantee you, and I can guarantee you this, we will not lift a finger in terms of building anything without consulting you all in the community.
September. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I have a few questions.
Sure.
Let me ask you one thing. Who did the project in 4th Avenue and say, from Prospect Avenue to, say, 10th Street or whatever? Who did that project? You guys?
Dana, do you know? Wasn't
DOT?
This is the bike lane?
No.
Which
Lanes,
project?
just lanes and mediums in the middle. Who does all that work? You guys or just? That would be the 4th Avenue. Okay, that was everybody.
No,
The
it's
reason why I'm bringing
DOT,
this up is
yeah.
because even down there, they were told, we're waiting
Oh, I got
to.
you.
I don't wanna hear that. I don't wanna hear, I wanna know. You're gonna wait for them, for everybody here, because I walked in on this at 7:30 because I didn't get any information. My question is Cropsey Avenue, okay? I walked in late. Now Cropsey Avenue, when you make a right turn, there's a new school that went up there. And I myself today had to go that way, and there was people parked in the middle, illegally parked to get their children. You're gonna put a bike lane there, And not only is that gonna, are you not by Glen Bus Lane that way, correct?
Yes, yeah, so we can go
Now,
to
my question is, are you accountable and thinking about the school? And then are you accounting that there's garbage pickup on that avenue, which is gonna take another lane away when they're there? You gotta realize something. We got civil servants working out there, and their life's in jeopardy every day. I don't wanna see it even more where the school, with the kids and the parents, you're putting them in jeopardy too, because every day we have mopeds, we have all these things, and they're gonna go.
I'm sorry, you're right, that's the point.
Yeah,
But all this is for our discussion afterwards.
Can,
she's not gonna wait.
Wait, hold on. What?
Explain this to you later.
may I have an email following up with everyone's here's concerns, Marnie?
You have it.
That's
You guys are gonna stay in touch with.
the council member, yes, 1,000%. It's okay, it's okay.
Okay.
All right?
We did not, so far, we haven't get any information. I reached out to community groups. No one told me they knows anything about it. Just let you guys know. I said it in the private meeting. I say that again.
Well, then it
Please
was-
do not move forward without talking to community members.
Okay.
That is a guarantee.
Yeah.
Not moving
Thank
forward.
you.
Yeah.
And also, we still don't know what's going to happen with all the merchants between 65th Street and the 75.
That's why you gotta reach out to them.
100%.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I'll say really quickly, and thank you so much for your comments, both yesterday and today, council member. I do believe that either our intergovernmental affairs team or Diana's office, the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner, have reached out to your office. If not, I will personally make sure that happens tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think they've already reached out, but I apologize if that hasn't happened yet.
No.
Not yet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Council make a recommendation. I work for her. I see one thing I don't hear something called the EIS, an environmental impact study with some of these businesses.
Yeah.
When you could put what's like, some of them are going to be impacted.
And the,
Okay.
So you speak to that also.
I've been reading
You
these.
guys talk to them. You speak
Yeah,
to
so,
them.
if
why
we
did that?
can stay, so I can stay a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, because it sounds like we have to move on, but I can speak to, I can speak to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And who hears from the Merchant Association? Who hears? Yeah. May I have your card so that way we know exactly who to reach out to?
Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda is we received a request to reverse the traffic direction on West 11th Street. Between Avenue O and D.
Email it to us. You got come on.
And this will be
Yes.
put on
Kaylin will have it. It's all right. This is school safety. Sorry. I'm gonna.
available, and we'll make sure that your office gets that link.
Pardon? Oh, Caitlin will.
Give you my
The school safety.
It will be probably tomorrow.
Caitlin. Okay.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you something.
set up buses, how many buses?
Sunday,
There.
9 p.m.
During the busiest time of the day, it's like a bus a minute, you can add up the B6 plus the B82.
Protest.
What's up? Yeah.
We're going with the next.
These guys.
He's quiet. Library voices in,
Thank you for your passion for street safety in your neighborhood. I can already tell you care a lot about your neighborhood and not only us. My name is Kate. I'm a senior project manager of our school safety unit. We focus on areas in front of schools where we see high rates of youth injuries and pedestrian injuries. That's what I'm here to talk about today.
63rd to.
So the area that I'm talking about is New Utrecht Avenue, 17th Avenue, 778 to 51st Street. This is right in front of the New Utrecht High School, right by the T train stop here at 79th. We received requests from the New Utrecht High School their safety team because they have some pretty serious traffic safety concerns. There are students walking in this area and up this complicated intersection. There's over 3,000 students, so pretty high volume. As noted before, you can see the Visit Zero Awards, which prioritizes areas where we see the highest amount of crashes. We do check out is a Visit Zero priority corridor due to the number of crashes here. It's also in our youth injury priority areas, so we analyze the areas with the highest number of youth injuries in the city, and this is one one of those areas. So the combination of crashes and specifically youth injuries let us know we needed to take a serious look at how we're doing safety here. Looking at the last 5 years, we see 38 total injuries just on this small kind of 2-block area. 4 of those are severe injuries, that's where someone's hospitalized, like broken bones, pretty intense injuries. And 8 of those in the last 5 years were youth injuries. So youth are making up 21% injuries at this intersection compared to the borough average, more than double the borough average. So pretty concerning for youth safety here. So if you haven't been before, this is one of those complex, low-tight intersections you see on the Utrecht Ave. There's over 30 unpredictable vehicle movements possible at this intersection because of how wide it is and because of the multiple crossings. We see vehicles often get stuck in the middle of the intersection, blocking through traffic, blocking pedestrians. Because there are so many different signal timing for this big cross, you have long wait times both for drivers and pedestrians. You gotta wait 3 cycles. And it's unsafe for pedestrians crossing these long distances. And because of the pillars and parked cars, there's also really poor visibility, kind of adding to the mess that it is. So as noted, over 30 movements is kind of exemplifying the kind of complexity of this intersection. And that is combined with that insane high number of students. Again, over 3,300 students just in the Utrecht High School alone, not to mention the 2 other schools nearby. And it's also a super wide intersection. It's over 80 feet long at its point here, which is both long for pedestrians, but also we've seen encourages really fast turns. So if you're turning left from the Utrecht onto 79th, you have 80 feet to pick up speed before you reach the crosswalk where people are crossing. So that's one of those kind of hot spots for injuries, is that crosswalk because of that long distance. We also see that there's a small slip lane from 17th Avenue to New Utrecht. A lot of cars go pretty fast through that slip lane, and it's right where the subway lets out. So you have a high volume of people at peak commuting time walking through that open slip lane. That's where we're seeing some of those injuries again. We also see along the Utrecht that there's kind of missing crosswalks. You can't keep walking straight, so people just do anyways, New Yorkers and especially student New Yorkers. So pretty concerning to see those missing crosswalks. And when you zoom out from this intersection, it's actually really long distances between safe crossings. So at this intersection, we're missing crosswalks, and coming through the neighborhood to get there, to the north, it's over 2 blocks, 570 feet to the next crosswalk. To the south, it's over 950 feet to the next crosswalk. So we're missing multiple blocks where there's safe crossings. And then, as I mentioned at the top, there's pretty poor visibility, especially as you approach the school. We often see cars parked up to and within the crosswalk, which is really concerning where we have students, and it blocks visibility of both pedestrians and oncoming vehicles. So to that end, I'll get to our proposal. The high-level goals of the design I'm going to show you are to simplify that complex bow tie and reduce the wait times, to reduce conflict points between the vehicles and pedestrians we're seeing here, to expand pedestrian space and shorten crossing distances for our students, to improve intersection visibility, and to install or see missing crosswalks. So in order to make that happen, what we're proposing is simplifying the bow-tie intersection through conversions of 17th Ave to one-way away from the intersection. So I might get up here and point.
We're making one-way street on 17th.
For 1 block. So from 79th to 80th, one-way northbound, and from 79th to 78th, one-way northbound, and from 79th to 80th, one-way southbound.
But that's split in half.
Mm-hmm.
79th to 80th is sort of split.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more graphics that kind of show the routing, but in doing this, what it does is remove the through traffic for that 1 block on 17th Ave. So it removes the whole signal phase. Right? You have 3 different signal phases for the 3 different streets that are entering here. We simplify it, so we have the Utrecht phase, 79th Street phase, like a traditional street intersection.
So they'd have to turn off of 17th Avenue. They'd have to grab the Utrecht
Yep,
Avenue. and come
that's
out.
the next visual. And in doing this, it helps simplify the intersection movements like we saw the chaos before, and it also gives us the space to add some of the pedestrian improvements that I'll go through. So to your end about how does through traffic work, going southbound on 17th, you would turn on to 78th and then on the Utrecht down to 17th. Going northbound, you would turn right onto 81st, left onto Utrecht, and then straight through on
So
17th.
there's really only one way. It's really 79th to 78th.
And this short block between 79th and 80th.
Oh,
This
I
person
see.
can't go all the way. You can get your turn on 80th, so you can still access the street, but it's a pretty short block. There's no businesses on that frontage.
That's cool.
Doesn't that add massive amount of volume down 80th Street where there's an exit for the school kids to come out?
Yeah.
So all through traffic, which is the majority of traffic that was entering that block, will turn right on 81st and then north on the U-Tract. The only access point would be if you're trying to go to 80th. If you're
But if-
continuing northbound.
But if you don't know the neighborhood, you don't know to make the right on 81st. You will keep going to 80th, now you're forced to make a left. To go way out of your way, come back around.
That's fair. You do not see the left turn only sign in the block in front of you. There would be kind of a learning curve there. Yeah. And in doing this, we'd also be pairing it with new signals and crosswalks at those intersections of the U-Tract Ave and 78th Street and the U-Tract Ave and 81st Street, both to conduct this traffic flow smoothly so you get a green through those two movements and to improve where we saw there were no crosswalks currently in the neighborhood. This might be familiar. There's something somewhat similar on the U-Tract Ave and 16th Ave right now. This is going southbound where it similarly was a bow tie intersection for this one short block right here. It's a one-way. You see there's only vehicles coming towards you, and you do this little zigzag onto the U-Tract. And the signal timing is aligned, so you get the green for both those movements at the same time.
Yeah, but there's no school, you're not turning down a school block.
Yeah.
You know, this is not showing you.
You're not gonna be on the school block right away.
Yeah.
You're not a school in that corner soon.
Yeah.
So in doing these one-way conversions, the secondary benefit we get from simplifying intersections is it gives us space to add pedestrian benefits. So I'll have flags highlighting these, but we can close that slip lane from 17th onto the U-Tract, removing the conflict of people exiting the train station and expanding pedestrian space, adding a concrete island in the middle of the intersection to organize it, protect pedestrians, installing the missing crosswalk and building out the sidewalk on the island, and adding curb extensions to improve visibility and shorten crossing distances throughout. So I can go through these quickly because they're just details of what we just said, but showing that slip lane benefit here, and then for that northbound block where we now have one less travel lane because it's only one way, adding docking angle parking to add a little additional parking in the neighborhood. For the,
Can we go back again? What was that? Animal parking where?
yes, it's in
79th and 78th.
between 79th and 78th, yeah, single parking here. Because
On both
there's
sides.
just on the one side. Yep, because it'll be a one-way, and you can still parallel park on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so parallel parking here, but adding additional parking because we have the additional width to it.
I
And
hope
then,
you can wait till September.
and then for the center of the intersection, because you no longer have this through movement, right, which are the cars that kept getting stuck in the middle of the intersection, that kept getting stuck walking New U-Tract.
So I brought that up before we were showing this. The biggest issue here is the timing of these lights. That's why you get stuck.
Yes,
It's the timing.
that's true, and the problem
Have they
is,
tried to fix the timing?
yes, so we cannot just, like, the timing is maxed out, for lack of better terms. In order to get enough time to accommodate full pedestrian crossing, volume on both of these through streets and on 79th Street, so again, 3 different light cycles. The timing is kind of maxed out. Like, you can't pull from one without severely impacting the other. So in this design, kind of the whole reason for the one-way convergence is it removes a whole phase. We now can expand the timing, have better through movement on the U-Tract, so longer green cycle, clearer cycle for 79th. So it kind of is the way to get the better timing is to simplify how many movements you have at the intersection. So adding this island helps simplify the shape of the island, give less that open space where people were driving erratically, and also helps protect pedestrians as they cross. And then for the southern section, we're now able to install that missing crosswalk so you can have a continuous path and expand the sidewalk on the island here. Currently, it's about 2 feet wide. It's not a real sidewalk. And we can put an ADA accessible full sidewalk here so people can walk continuously on the U-Tract path. And then the final element of our pedestrian improvements are concrete and paved. Curb extensions at all approaches to the high school, the curb extensions, as an example from a driver's point of view, they prevent the parking that happens right at the crosswalk to make it clear for oncoming vehicles and pedestrians, so that you can see where they're coming from, improve visibility, and also shorten crossings. It's one of our most effective tools. We see over a 40% reduction in injuries where these are installed. So when we approach to the school block, we're kind of prioritizing them on those corners. There's always trade-offs to have safety improvements. As mentioned, it removes about 10 feet before the crosswalk to have that visibility where currently you can't see pedestrians or oncoming vehicles. And in doing that, it removes about 2 parking spots per an intersection on the approaches to the school. We are able to add back some parking. That was one of our goals, through the angled parking, through the tightening of the intersection, and through the expanded island. So putting back parking everywhere we can. And the total trade-off is 14 spots for the purpose of safety improvements. And then I'll leave on the summary slide so we can open it for discussion. But really the goal here is simplifying the signal timing through those one-way conversions so that we can add pedestrian safety benefits, so we can add those new crosswalks, so we can shorten crossings and add things like pedestrian islands, closing the lanes, and putting in those missing crossings.
I'm not saying what you're saying isn't true. I'm not saying it. My experience is different. We make it across. It may be where the light may be too long or too short, whatever, but they make it across. I mean, some of these things I'm not sure. The one way really kind of worries me, especially from 81st to 80th. Now I have to stop and make a left.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking provisions may have to be made so that 79th Street subway station could be made wheelchair accessible. You're gonna have to install this.
Well, that's not on.
That's not on us.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
eventually.
it would make
Talk about that.
the islands accessible, the current accessible,
So-
sidewalks accessible, and that area where the zip line is closed. Currently, that island doesn't have a cutters, it's not really
So
accessible, so
making
there are some improvements
making
there.
that left and forcing everybody to make that left.
Yeah.
That's on 80th.
Yeah.
17th Avenue.
On 80th.
What do you mean, you're
That
not
is
forcing a
so-
right on 81st? You're not forcing the left
No,
on
you
80th,
can't
that
make
already
the left on,
exists.
you can't make the left on 8, you're doing it.
Okay, so what I'm
You're
talking
forcing
about,
right on 81st.
what I'm talking about is 17th Avenue, between 81st, now I get to 80th, I can no longer go straight,
Correct.
I can no longer make a right, well, you couldn't,
Yep.
but everyone will make the left.
Yep.
That's the problem,
Until
that's
they-
the school block.
Until they learn to make
Until-
the right.
Yeah,
On
you're right,
81st.
you're
They're
right.
supposed to
that-
be making the right at 81st.
Yeah, so if
Then
you
they should-
continue
I'll-
straight,
I'll
you know, when
make
you
it
put
set
Google
up,
Maps on your phone, this is the route that it will send you on.
until,
If you wanna go through 17th Avenue, make a right turn at
so
81st.
the man is saying, until everyone learns.
Right.
Yeah,
My mayor's already said that the education system in New York does not meet certain standards, and I agree. So I can't depend on that.
understood.
In reality, I cannot depend on that.
Yeah,
So
understood.
I'm gonna have to depend on reality.
So, Cody, but I don't think it's a forced left on 80.
It's a forced left on
Forced
it.
left on 80. That's
It's a forced left on
Yeah.
it.
There are
So,
two exits that those.
Routing will take people right on 81st and left on 80th. You're right, if you're not using a mapping system and you aren't in the neighborhood, you don't go in the know, you will have experience where you have to turn left. That is true.
So I can't depend on them eventually learning. I can't go based on that. I have to go based on the fact that they might not learn, maybe they don't learn right away. 80th Street's already a nightmare. It was such a nightmare with the speed bumps.
Yeah, understood. We've actually met with the school multiple times. This was something that they
School
were.
buses blocking, ambulance every day. This is 3,000 kids. Someone calls an ambulance every day.
Yeah, but you can't turn all that traffic
You
on.
can't get down that street
Understood.
as it is.
Understood.
So maybe you should force them to make a right.
It does, you just said that.
Yeah, we actually looked at that for a moment. Unfortunately, the use space isn't long enough for the movement. We hear you.
Then
We've been,
I wouldn't touch it, because like I said, if there's a fire truck, which happens once every couple of months.
Understood.
Okay? Ambulance, once a week, twice a week, 2 times a week. School buses, everything. No one's ever getting down that block. Those residents are in trouble if you do this. Are in trouble. They'll never sleep.
Yeah,
But it
your
has to be,
concerns
it
are
has to be a
valid.
proactive. But
There's
you have
no-
to, you're making the signs to be proactive.
Making that, I understand you're saying, well, you have an option to make it right and avoid it. Maybe half the room would do that. I don't know on the other hand, I can't depend on our, count on, oh, we'll learn.
Yeah, I
So-
understand your concern, that's helpful feedback.
That can make things very rough on that block.
Yeah.
And it's already an intense
But
block.
someone just, Angela just mentioned too that, like, this is an early voting site,
Mhm.
and the entrance is on 80 to get in.
It's
You
the,
have-
oh, forget
Early
it.
voting site, so
You can never vote.
you have everybody going there and they
You can't
drive there
vote.
because they're coming from Dyker. They're not walking to
You
the
won't be able to
site.
vote.
Now, so Rico's closed, they have to drive.
So wait, what do you mean they're not gonna be able to get there if they're driving on?
If everyone's gonna have to make that left, I don't wanna be anywhere near that block.
Yeah.
I mean, if you run through traffic, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to be.
I can't depend on people learning it, I can't depend on people knowing it, I can just see automatically, I'm a little familiar with law. And, oh my God, teachers getting to work,
Okay, so is the committee more inclined to a more aggressive solution of closing down 80th and 79th between 17th and 16th?
wait, repeat that?
So are we okay with a more aggressive solution then of closing down 80th and 79th between 16th and 17th Avenue?
The goal is to protect the kids.
You wanna close 79 in
Yeah,
what
to
sense?
traffic during school dismissal hours.
Where are these teachers gonna park, they can't park as it is?
Oh, well. I mean,
Oh,
we're
oh,
talking,
let me go in there with that solution.
we're worried about sending traffic down 80th apparently.
I think.
So like,
You're putting an overload, I think.
Yeah.
On an overload.
wait, I thought we were saying that 80th is already too crowded and needs less traffic.
Right.
That's what was being
Yes,
said, yes.
yes.
Okay.
And now you're proposing to shut down the block after it,
Through traffic.
to give 80th even more insanity.
Another question.
If you shut down 79 between 16 and 17, sorry, Mrs. Sorrell, the microphone.
So, I mean, on 81st Street and 80th Street, can there be, I mean, in order to avoid a forced left turn on 80th Street in case you miss, so you don't miss the right on 80th Street, is there going to be like a sign or some sort of light directing people that that's a right-hand turn?
Yeah, there will be
Okay.
left-hand only signage, markings on the roadway.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it
on,
would be indicated.
on 81st, or maybe in the middle of 81st, 82nd, or on 81st, you're gonna have a light and a sign and an animated where a person's actually acting it out.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
look into that, we'll ask for signals, maybe from the intermittent.
the key is to be proactive.
Yeah, understood, yeah, I think that I'm hearing that we don't want people
Come
to
versus
do
going
this
southbound.
movement, we're worried about people doing it.
It's more
not
of a
learning.
through.
It's
Any comments or
understood,
questions?
I understand.
I would strongly recommend stay away from Union High School.
So don't.
I don't know how you're gonna make that section better, but I would stay away from it.
So don't we just
Understood,
like school requests?
for serious concerns from
The
the
school
school.
requested this?
Yes, and we have a letter of support here
What
from
can they tell
them.
you? And they
Because
say,
they want
well,
these safety
people will learn.
improvements, they're extremely concerned about
Well,
safety.
people will learn. After hearing this, I believe everyone will learn.
There's another proposal, I think. Was it considered to close down 80th, not between 16th and 17th, but between 17th and New Utrecht? That small little segment, yes. And
Make that a
fuse
right
and
turn
fuse-
only.
Yeah, make that a right turn only and then fuse those triangles.
We haven't looked at that in our traffic model. If that's something the board's interested in, we can see what the current demand is for this movement, and if it would make sense to have it rerouted, we're happy to look into that. If that's something the board is interested in. We have collected the data for the neighborhood, so we have the volumes and could look at
Why not
it.
make that 2 ways, only just block this up?
Yeah, to lower the volumes and.
No, you're trying to lower the volume of the keyboard.
A little block.
It's a one-way, already, you can't, it's one-way 80th.
I know, why not make it 2 ways, so now you have more traffic flow. If you're looking for traffic flow, give it to
What
me.
are you talking about? We're trying to reduce traffic flow. You were saying we're reducing traffic flow down 80th for the students. Yeah.
Right now, 80th Street between Utrecht and 17th goes down the Utrecht block. Correct? Okay. Why not make that a 2-way? So there's people that are on 17th that can get off. and get away from the school. There's two parking spots.
on both
Just remove
I
them.
know.
You're saying right
You'll
here
have
is
plenty of
too late?
space.
Just to understand.
If you take a right from 17th, okay, let's assume you do.
Yeah,
Are you then gonna be allowed to make, no, a right off of 17th
I can make a right on
two-way 80th, onto the two-way 80th northbound? And then what?
I can make a left on the Utrecht or a right
A
on the
left on the Utrecht that closes off the entire 80th Street traffic?
No.
And you'll need to put in two phases.
No, he's saying to make it two.
Yeah, no, I understand what he's saying. I'm walking through, I'm actually walking through.
I'm gonna walk through with you.
Yes, please.
So traffic is coming this way currently.
Yes.
Traffic is coming this way, you can't go this way. I can't get away from this.
Okay.
Because I have to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
Why don't you make a two-way here? This is already a one-way with two parking spots.
Okay.
Just remove the parking, you now have two lanes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, but
Now
that
with
would,
the space,
that would assume
that would give people, this, you would relieve this by allowing people to get away.
hold on. It would only relieve it if we're going with this plan, because no one's gonna make that turn if they have to go down 17th anyways. No one's gonna take the long route.
Let's look at your way.
Yeah.
So here, I'm forced, no. So here, I can make a right and get off. So this is a two-way instead.
Okay, but,
In this plan, make this a two-way.
oh, so we go with this
In
plan.
this
so we
plan,
make
make
that
it a two-way.
I mean, understand.
If,
So that way you're splitting it up.
if I'm coming this way, and I'm on this block like I would be now, I would go straight, right? I can make a left, I can turn. I can still do that.
When I
We
was,
can still do that.
just to clarify, when we were suggesting blocking that off, I was suggesting that in an alternative to this plan. What you're saying is make it a two-lane in addition to this plan. So we still make 17th Avenue the
It
one way.
allows people to get off of here
So
by
you're
going
not
this
putting
way.
it on the side.
I
Like,
can
it's gotta use this block.
I'll tell you why that can't work. Everybody, my name is Nick Carey, I work with Kate. It's too short, too short a distance between nodes. There's regulations around when you're driving and you turn, and then you have to have time to see the signal and stop before, but it's just too tight. So at 16th Avenue, when you have to make that turn at New Utrecht, it doesn't matter because it's green anyways. It's perfectly lined up. Oh.
All right, so do we take this home in the summer and we
Yes,
come
it's
back and
summer,
forth?
yes.
Okay, okay. Please email
We
us.
agree, it's gotta get
Yes,
fixed.
so we can
Yes.
look
It
at
is a
this.
mess.
But there is a problem with that time.
So that we can look at this.
Yeah, understood. I understand the concern.
Yeah,
And looking at it. And there are other improvements we're talking with the school about improving their loading operations, some of these traffic and so on.
Oh, and don't forget, they have deliveries, huge trucks.
Understood.
Cafeteria, for sports.
Yeah.
Right down the block.
Yeah, their loading demand is one of the key topics we've been talking with them about how to improve that all this frontage, so totally understood.
So wait, that part of 17th Avenue that's right, that small part that's right in front of the school, yeah, there. You can turn right into 80th from there, right?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
But you can't, and that's another thing. If it's able to be a two-way, you can make a left coming
And do
from
a
where,
U-turn?
from where we said, you can make a left and you can get away from the school and the congestion. Right now, you're forcing more to it. I don't know. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where will these be posted?
This will be posted on the city's current projects webpage within the next 3 to 4 work days, and we'll send a link.
Thank you. They didn't get this like that.
Thank you all. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you.
We know you're
Yeah, let's go.
So we received a request to reverse the traffic direction on West 11th Street between Avenue O and P due to traffic light chasing, heavy truck routing, and noise pollution, and to utilize school traffic layouts to deflect cutthroats. The Department of Transportation advised the residents that the board must support. However, I believe that there are more complex issues in this area that should be addressed before we weigh in. They suggest that we request that the DOT study the area of Bay Parkway from Stillwell Avenue to West 9th Street, and from Bay Parkway to Avenue P. They should include school safety and curb management / smart curbs studies that affect how vehicles queue and access commercial space.
Study it,
Been
Yeah.
discussions.
study it.
That came from me, that letter came from me.
Yes, would you like to?
Yes.
Yes, sir, do you have questions? I can know.
No, study it,
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to add that.
study it, that's fine.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns is also tonight we heard that they're redoing Big Parkway, not the vicinity too. So we would have to take it all in and review all of that.
And ask them to further study it and see what we come up with in conjunction with all the other work that's proposed right now.
You want this back?
There's only one problem on Avenue B in that zone, and that's the successive Avenue variance.
West 11 car wash.
Wait, is that a successive coming? It used to be something. My mom went.
It is.
It's both now.
Okay, sure. Oh.
Yeah, so there's lots of issues in that area.
So make a motion to ask the DOT to further study.
Yeah, make a motion.
Yes.
Last item.
Okay, the last final item is the DOT's truck route network redesign, which is required under local law 171. It proposes a new truck route action plan that balances sometimes competing interests, the need to move freight versus the quality of life of our communities. The DOT adopted a comprehensive approach for this redesign, commencing with a detailed analysis of current truck routes and traffic patterns. They are proposing the addition of a truck route along Utrecht Avenue, which begins at 39th Street and extends to 86th Street. With the lack of meaningful truck enforcement on our streets and the commercial and manufacturing use along Utrecht Avenue, this proposal effectively legalizes the existing conditions. While no plan is perfect, the proposal does not include environmental justice or federal disadvantaged communities, and may reduce the impact along the truck route along Cropsey Avenue, which is a designated disadvantaged community.
Define this truck route. Define what
We
that,
have a truck route, we have,
if it's a regular street,
in this
can't
city,
use it.
only if it's local delivery. So it's 65th Street, it's,
So 39th all the way to 86. So if I get on 39th Street on Utrecht Avenue, and I just want to go to my yard and park my truck, I would take Utrecht Avenue, and then it will go over.
They already are, that's what we're saying.
that's what we're saying.
So they're just
That's
two
what
lots.
we're saying.
Essentially, that was illegal.
You let me later.
You're kidding.
No, exactly, so there's no
Motion.
comments, yeah.
Motion to do it, sir.
With those comments
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
No. We have to address that.
I just wanted to bring forth to this transportation committee, the principles that Brooklyn CB9 and Central Brooklyn adopted. For the interest of time, I can give this out.
All right, first.
Balancing
She has a motion.
and a bridge, and a bridge.
She has a motion.
This was a panel of our proposal.
Second.
Okay.
In
Motion
favor.
to adjourn?
In favor. Oh, now that.
Oh,
Thank you for the advice.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day.
So next, what is this?
Oh, yes.
See you tomorrow.
15 minutes.
Wait, do you want? Oh, sorry. I'm part of this committee. I'm part of the board. I don't think we do. Why would we?
Because what happened is I'm writing some stuff for the Brooklyn bus design right now, and I know you guys are kind of people objecting or advocating for some of the bus redesigns. The problem is I have a lot to say, but I want someone who knows what they're talking about to flesh it out for me. Like some feedback.
You can ask people what they think.
Yeah, because like, for example, here's a good one. This was
When I already make a decision on this, I'm gonna